Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Doug and I'm back to talk to you about another collection of 59Fifty caps. This time we're going to talk about the 2018-2019 City Series caps. These are 59Fifties put out by New Era to match the City Series uniforms, which will again be worn this year, designed by Nike for each of the NBA teams. So you're going to find a similar theme between the caps and the uniforms. And you'll notice that the three caps I have in front of me, it's NBA time, so I got out some of my NBA caps. These are all fitted 59Fifties. Bucks and Rockets, actually on either side here, are from the NBA Alpha Series, which again took the first letter from the jersey designs of these teams and put it on a cap, which I thought was a pretty cool collection. And then this one in the center here is, of course, Denver Nuggets, and this is last year's City Series cap. So these are brand new, out the first week of November of 2018, the City Series Edition 2.0. I have not gotten one yet, although I took a look at some of the snapbacks at the store a couple of days ago, and I do plan on ordering one. But anyways, they're out again. They're going to coincide with some City Series uniforms that all the teams are going to wear. I've found some non-traditional uses of design and color, some that I think work very well, and others that are maybe not so good design choices. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the collection, and I'll show you what I found. Okay, as shown briefly before, here's a quick overview showing 7 caps. You can see another Asian-inspired design for Golden State, Celtics, Miami Heat, Oklahoma City, there among others. Taking a little bit closer look at 3 other designs, you can see the Knicks back with a familiar blue and orange take on a round logo there. The Rockets cap in the middle is interesting from the standpoint that it's really a logo all about pattern. You can see the rocket that's been worked in there. And then you get kind of a plain approach where you've just got text on the front of the cap for the Denver Nuggets there, and they've moved the peak and pickaxe logo to the side of the cap. As before, these do have the tie-ins with the NBA player uniforms designed by Nike for the City Series. So you can see here the black, gray, and charcoal color scheme for the Pistons and the obvious tie-ins to the cap. Here's a Cleveland example where they've gone back to an earlier color scheme for the Cavs. Of course, they were blue and orange before moving to the maroon and gold scheme when LeBron James came onto the team in the early 2000s. And then the 76ers, where they've got the same ring of stars featured on the cap around the 76 logo that appears on the City Series uniforms around the player numbers. So you can see that on the front of the jersey there. Kind of the retro Ben Franklin, dribbling Ben Franklin on the side of the cap there as well. One of the cool things I found about this collection is the attention to detail. This is a great example of it with a Celtics cap here. You know, from afar you might not see any of the detail inside the clover, but when you look just a little bit closer, you can see it's got a graphic detail that's meant to be a tribute to the parquet floor that was long, for decades, a feature of the Boston Garden, and one of the things it was known for of all those champion Celtics teams that played on it. Here we've got the New Orleans with the NOLA on the side, the Jazz colors inside the sweatband, and then the 2 faces of drama, tragedy and comedy on the front of the cap. So that's kind of an interesting take on the Pelicans design. And then Utah, where you've got this really clean outline of the state of Utah, just with the basketball image kind of carved in with it, the lines on the basketball carved into that. And again, you see that they've taken kind of the gradient, that yellow, orange, red progression that appears on their City Series uniforms, and just applied that to the sweatband. Starting at Utah, that's actually a good point to mention, where I think a lot of these have improved in design from the prior 2017 edition of the City Series. This is a good example where I think using the Utah on the front of the cap last year was kind of sacrificed a little bit of the fact that it was a basketball cap. Now they've moved the basketball image up front of the cap, moved the Utah to the side, and I think it works a lot better. Here was one of the ones that I was critical of last year, where I thought they took an iconic Bulls icon or a Bulls logo and moved it to the side of the cap and placed a script Chicago on the front of the cap. Now, with one of the 2018 designs for the Bulls City Series, they've got that bull back prominent on the front and the 4 stars from the Illinois state flag suspended in between the horns, which I think turns out to be a pretty good look. And another one that I was critical of, in 2017, the Raptors cap really had this north spelled out over the maple leaf, and it kind of looked really disorganized, almost like the letters were placed by hand and didn't come off really well. It looks a little flashier this year, and certainly picking up that gold chevron draws more attention to the cap, but I also think it organizes it, cleans it up a lot better, and the use of Raptors basketball logo underneath that is very effective, so I think it's just a lot better approach this year. And then finally Miami, where the cap on the left here kind of looks like it could be just a tourist cap. Maybe you went on a trip to Miami and brought that home, whereas you got the Miami Heat logo front and center on this new version of the cap, and I just think it looks so much better now that they've tied that in. Incidentally, it kind of ties in similar colors to the Miami Marlins logo that was just announced in November of 2018, with kind of the neon take on colors from Miami's nightlife. So that's a pretty solid design. So there you have it. Just a quick walk through the collection. Some of the ones that I thought were good and some maybe not so good design choices, but I do applaud them for maybe stretching the boundaries of the traditional team designs and doing some things a little differently. So, and I appreciate the way that the cap details reflect the uniform details in one way or another. So there you have it. I appreciate your watching, and we'll see you next time.